take away your focus is beyond that. Because again, the average NFL career is less than 3 years. It only goes to 3 years when you add in injuries. You on average make it about 5 to 7, and then they have those long guys like Adam Vinatieri, like 22, 23 years, John Casey, who I've been with, also 20 plus years. That's what takes that average just over 3 years. So when you think of it like that, how much longer do you have of your life to live after just 3 years of that short game? You gotta remind yourself, if I did that for 3 years, I got 60 years to do something else. You can't focus in just that small window. Jim always asks about grades. How many A students are there? B students, C students. That's where his kind of cutoff gets a little funny, right? Because again, that's finding that focus. How many of you are willing to find that commitment to find focus? I wasn't always the big guy. I can tell you that now. I graduated high school and I was lucky to be 190 pounds and change. But I worked every single day that I had an opportunity to. And even on days when I didn't really have an opportunity, I was still thinking about what I need to do next. There was no one single point of focus for me. And that's allowed me to do some great things, meet great people, and go beyond them. So, being from Panama City, I've been blessed to travel the world as a military kid. My dad retired at Tyndall. My mom actually graduated from Bay High. So, I have a lot of family roots here and a lot of time. So I love coming back to this community. And Jim, thank you for getting that together because it gives me an opportunity to serve my community a lot of times that I haven't had a chance to. But beyond that, it's also understanding, my point of view, my intentional point of view, and how I would like to see everybody grow. I know what this community is like. I know what things are being taught. I know what's being said. But every one of you has an opportunity to change that. Every single thing you do. When I got to college, my first job was to make sure I went to class. My next job was to make sure I went to study hall. My third job was to make sure I went to practice. Because it happened in succession, just like that. Because the first thing you did in the morning was go to class. The next thing you did was have study hall. And after that, it was practice. And yeah, it changed up here and there, but in reality, that was what you had to do. Now, moving on into the springtime, as things go, now that cycle's going to change. You have early morning workouts, going to class from there, and everything else. Well, I chose a 5-year major. I'm a landscape architect major by choice. Not an easy job. Nothing about that career is anything easy, especially the education part. Because my first class every single day of college was 3 hours long. 8 to 11, first class of the day. So I took, not only did I go my 8 to 11, I also took my next class, which took me over to lunch. I took a short, computer science class that I did online at the time there, with a teacher, went to practice, left practice, went to study hall, and went back for my night class. That was what my college career was like. So it was a sacrifice, but it was well worth it. Didn't mean I missed out on things in college or anything else like that. I just got done what I needed to be done. And when those early morning workouts were happening, guys are walking out and walking into those workouts and trying to get to a class 8 o'clock class. My class was on the opposite side of campus, out on the way, couldn't make it. There was no way I was going to get through our workout, get showered, dressed, go grab a bite to eat, and get there. So it became a whole another decision I had to make. I got up every morning, an hour before we even had workout start. I would literally honk my horn in my car, drive it past our weight room, one of our weight room assistants' house, honk my horn, which he was like, all right, time for me to get up too. And I would be through our warm-up before he would get in the building. I was the only player that had a key to our weight room to get himself in. And I'll tell you.
Say it again, Coach. Say it again, Coach. Say it again. Say it again.
I was the only player who had a key to our weight room to get himself in. We're talking the level of commitment and the respect that I had earned from not only the staff and the coaches to allow me to do that because I was committed. They saw that I was committed on both sides. I was committed not only to the team to make sure I met all the obligations there, but I was also committed to my education, which I'll tell you now, that was instilled by my mom. There's one thing that she never let slide. You don't get a choice. If I missed school because I was sick, there was no going outside, there was no playing with your friends, there was no Nintendo, no PlayStation, none of that. You got home, she went and picked up my school homework, brought it home, and if I got through that and finished that, then I would do chores and same week. So it wasn't about me just being like, okay, I can do what I want. I don't feel like doing something. I don't feel like doing something. There's a lot of days when you don't feel like doing something, but you got to make the choice to do it because it's what's right. You got to make the choice to do it because it's what's right. Beyond that, the people you treat, the way you treat people has to be the right way too. Now you'll never find somebody out there who says, if you ask me something and I tell you to do it, that's my point. I'm gonna do it. Unless something completely stops me from doing it, I'm gonna do it. Now that can in all kinds of forms. Whether that meant, oh my goodness, you know, matter of fact, one of my good friends from high school was getting married when I was in college, and I was like, man, this is another interesting little story, right? I had finals that afternoon, and I was like, well, you know, it's college. I couldn't afford to fly out to see him, but I was like, well, it's a little bit of gas money. Let's go. So I finished my final that afternoon, drove 9 hours out to Arkansas, went to his wedding, you know, stayed with the fam, enjoyed ourselves, had a little recreational, hopped back in my car, drove back 9 hours, studied for 5-6 more hours, and took my next final. Because I told one of my best friends growing up, I'll be there. So don't make people question what you're willing to do. This game itself is about accountability. When you learn that, I was saying that earlier, where is it? Let's see if I can find it, right? We talked about accountability, right? And you can find, you have to do your job. And I explained to this group earlier, I said, the best thing I ever heard a coach say was, you don't get 2 paychecks, so don't do 2 jobs. I ain't paying you to do 2 things, so do your job, and that's it, right? That's all you can do. And that itself explains the game in its simplest form. Everybody has their job to do. Do your 111. That's all you have to do. Do your 111. Because if everybody does their job, it's a win. I said on the field yesterday, every offensive play, effort drawn out is a touchdown. Every single one. Ask any offensive coach, you get that block, you do this, you go there, we score. I don't care if it's run, pass, screen, nothing. It's always a touchdown. So as a defensive-minded guy, my goal is defense, hey, we got to be better than the offense because we are reactive. We're not proactive. They get benefits that we don't. They get the ball, the snap down, the alignment, assignment, everything that they see. And we're consistently adjusting to that. So everybody has to do their job and be accountable so that we can be successful. Now that's what I want to leave you with here. Do your part to be successful. Don't blame your mom, don't blame your dad, don't blame your sister or brother. You make the choice to do the right thing. And actually, especially, don't blame all the people around you because it all falls on you. So when you make those choices, make the right choice. Question if you feel like there's a wrong choice and take it to somebody else who makes good choices and talk to them about it. Because your mom, dad, uncle, grandma, sister, brother, you have a whole household of people that are just in that circle. And beyond that, when you go into this sport, you have a whole locker room full of people to talk to and that want the best for you. The best friends you're going to find are about the age group you're in life right now. Because at 20 years, chances are 20 years later, those are the people you talk to the most, all the time. Remind yourself of that. So focus, accountability, and most importantly, self. Find yourself. The true self is going to guide you in the right direction. All right, thank you.